This is interesting. This is a study that was done by Neiman Lab, which is associated with National Public Radio in the US. And it's from 2012, but in my view, it's priceless. I have this picture pinned to my bulletin board at work, and I use it to explain content to people when they come in, because everybody wants to know what to do with Facebook. And despite what we saw last time about the pay-to-play model, how Facebook is starting to throttle the reach of brand and fan pages, content is still important. It's going to be a lot of what you do, and content can still break through. Great content can resonate. I see it all the time. It's just a matter of understanding what will resonate with your audience. So this graphic is available on the Facebook group, but to take a look at this a little bit, National Public Radio in the US, NPR, surveyed stations around the US and asked them, what have you found that resonates online? And they found there were several things. One of them was place explainers, so things that illustrate a geographical place, like a city. Another was crowd pleasers, that sort of rah, 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 get you going thing. Curiosity stimulators, did you know? Factoids, trivia, things like that. Obviously things that explain the news, what's happening overseas, what's happening domestically, in the economy, things like that. Insights. Major breaking news is a no-brainer. This always gets great uptake. Feel-good smilers, I don't know if anyone recognizes keyboard cat here. And this is a bit problematical for some people, because a lot of people will say, well, we have a very professional Facebook page. It's important that it remains professional, and we exude a certain kind of outlook for our audience. Well, that's fine, but it's also okay to lighten up once in a while and to provide some humor even. It's what makes you human, really, as a page. And if we know one thing, it's that people want to engage with humans. Even when they're engaging with a brand, they're really not too concerned about engaging with a company, with a corporate organization. They want that human touch. So you shouldn't categorically necessarily shy away from the feel-good things. They can have a role too in any page. Topical buzzers, what's happening, a bit like news explainers, but slightly different flavor. Now here's an interesting one, provocative controversies. Again, a lot of people have trouble with this because a lot of brands want to shy away from anything provocative or controversial. And sometimes that's a good idea. You have to be very careful about what might cause a significant negative reaction in your audience. But we do know one thing. Provocative content or controversial content is often the mother of conversation. And conversations are what really excels on social media, including Facebook, because it's engaging. So to say something that's perhaps a bit contentious or controversial or that provokes isn't necessarily bad if you're careful about it, if it's a calculated risk, so to speak, and if you know your audience. So this can work in your favor. It's just a matter of knowing your audience and being careful, taking a wise risk. Now the last one is awe-inspiring visuals. Now I would say we all can't have a picture of a whale leaping out of the water, but things that resonate visually still have play on Facebook. We'll see that it's not like the good old days where you could put up a photo and just watch it take off, but there's still a place for photography on Facebook. So here's 9 categories of information just to get those juices flowing. This isn't a formula for what works with content, but gives you some good ideas to start with. Content is where the strategic goal of your plan is essential. So for example, are you trying to drive engagement? That's a certain kind of content. If you're trying to get likes, that leads you in a different direction. Are you trying to reinforce your brand, build an audience? What's your goal? That will partly determine your content mix. Now we talked about the strategic goal of your executive summary. So if you know what your goal is, you should be able to come up with the tactics to achieve that goal. And a major tactic on Facebook is content. So from your goal is going to come partly the kind of content you want to focus on. So here's an exercise. I want you to take a minute, you can pause the video, and I want you to identify a page that you think is doing a great job with content. It could be a nonprofit, it could be a corner pub, it could be small, big, it could be Unilever, which is one of the examples that was given. But I want you to find one that you think does a really good job, and I want you to paste the URL onto the discussion post on our Facebook group. This is the link, but you'll see the post. I will pin it to the top after this so that everyone can see it. But I want you to explain why you think that's great. why they're doing such a good job with their content, why it's resonating with you in particular. So I want you to paste one URL Facebook page into that section of our group. So please go ahead, do that now, and pause the video. Okay, so we're back. I have some recommended reading that I put up on our Facebook group and also on the Blackboard. And this is really designed to give you a deeper dive into what works. Now you'll see one of them here is actually a book on selling. But the reason we do content on Facebook is because it's content marketing. And marketing is the sort of sister discipline of selling. So Daniel H. Pink, To Sell is Human, is still a great book for thinking about how to create compelling content. These other ones are more straight up content about things like making a contagious idea, how to create content for Facebook and Twitter, content that sticks with people. So if you wanted to, I would recommend taking one of these books and just browsing through it and getting some ideas for what's going to resonate on your Facebook page in terms of content. These are also all available in terms of links to, I think it's Amazon, on the Facebook group and on Blackboard. Now this is essential. This is Shakespeare. Brevity is the soul of wit. And what works for Shakespeare actually also works on Facebook. It's important not to create content that's too verbose. And by that I mean too long. Posts with 80 characters or less receive 66% higher engagement. This is a statistic I ran across a little while ago. And it's been corroborated many different times in many different ways. The numbers change a little bit. But the takeaway is the shorter your content, the more likely it is to resonate. And partly it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because shorter content is usually better written, is usually more to the point. So again, Facebook posts between 100 and 250 characters, less than 3 lines of text, see about 60% more likes, comments, and shares than those with 250 characters. So I'm not saying there's no point to doing longer content, but we do know that everyone online is suffused with messages, ads, other Facebook pages, other social media, email, the web. There's so many signals coming in. So what are you going to do that's going to grab someone's attention? Why should they pay attention to you? What's so important? Think about those 9 different categories of content that resonates and ask what you can be doing with your content to make it push through all those barriers. The cover photo. This is the first piece of content that visitors are likely to come across when they see your page. This is the face of your page. Whether it's on mobile or laptop, doesn't matter. So think for a second. What does this say about you? It's a design element and it's a brand element. So here's some. Top left, we have York University Home, a Facebook page that I administer. So we've got a winter scene. And we wanted to show that we have a lovely campus, it's beautiful, and it's a place you might want to go. Underneath that is Comedy Central, The Daily Show. Now this is interesting, because it's a picture of Jon Stewart. He's not like grinning into the camera or anything, although you can obviously see from his profile picture what he looks like. But he is the face of The Daily Show, at least for a few more months. So they decided to highlight him. Now, I would say that maybe they could have done a different, perhaps even better job with the cover photo if they had him doing something, interviewing someone, looking into the camera. But this was a choice. Maybe it worked. Now below that, Inside Higher Ed, which is a sort of educational look at higher education across Canada and the US. And what they do is interesting because they crowdsource their submissions, at least in part, for their Facebook pages, for the cover photos. So this is from a university. It was submitted, and they selected it from a bunch of submissions and put it up. So there's an opportunity to engage your audience even in something like creating the Facebook cover photo. Think about that. If you go and look at the second column at the top, Pittsburgh Penguins. This is definitely the rah, rah, rah that we saw in the NPR study. Fans. It's hopefully going to get you behind the team and maybe want to get you to come to the stadium and spend some money. The Economist is interesting because this was taken during the Ebola scare. It's very compelling. It's very spooky and dark, but it's very compelling, and this might make you want to click. Lastly, at the bottom, we have milestones. So when you look at this, what does it say? It's all about the product. Here's the kind of great drinks and food that you can get if you visit Milestones. In my mind, this is perfect because you're showing the reason for engaging with the page front and center. So think about the cover photo that you want to put up for your page. What's the first thing you want people to see? Think of it as the sign hanging outside your business. What does it say about you? Why would people come inside if they see that sign? Cover photo guidelines. A unique image that represents your brand. Pictures of people using your product. A shot of your premises or building. An exterior, like you saw for York University. A personality like Jon Stewart. A menu item like Milestones. Could be anything. But experiment. And don't forget the description. When you put up a cover photo, that appears in the timeline. So, if you don't add a description to this photo, people will just see the photo. They won't see an explanation of what it is, where it was taken, things like that. And this, as I mentioned, is an experiment, an opportunity to experiment. It's important for you to rotate your cover photo. This is something I'd like you to see. I'd like to see you do at least once, if not more, during the course. It keeps the page fresh and it engages people. It's sort of like refreshing the sign outside the business. It's not something that's done in real life, but if it were as easy as it is to change a cover photo on Facebook, I bet people would. So rotate your cover photo. It's a best practice. Some guidelines. Does anything go with cover photos? Well, not really. Copyrighted images are not a good idea unless you have the copyright. Model releases are also essential. So some people believe that you can take any image you see off Google and put it up. Well, if you're small enough, you might be able to get away with it. But if you're a company and you're using someone else's photo without permission, technically that's illegal. You can't do that. So don't use someone else's property. Don't use copyrighted images. There's lots of free services out there, like Stock Exchange. There's lots of low-cost services out there as well. So there's no reason why you have to poach someone's photography to use for your page. Model release is also important. So, cover photos can't be deceptive, misleading, infringe on anyone else's copyright, or be in violation of the page terms. You may not encourage people to upload a cover photo to their personal timelines. In addition to this, a model release is necessary if you are using somebody who is personally identifiable in a photo. So personally identifiable means that you can identify that person from their face. That's the non-technical, non-legal version. Don't quote me on that. Don't make any legal decisions around what I tell you. But that's the sort of layman's terms of what a model release is. So that's why sometimes you see photos where they're blurred or taken from behind. That's because that person is considered anonymous and you don't need a model release. Model releases are available in standardized form online. You can Google it. And you may also be able to capture consent on video. So one thing that we do in some businesses is if we take a photo of someone, say at an event, we want to use it, whether it's your Facebook cover photo or it's a photo on the timeline, we will record their permission using the video function of the camera. So thank God we're in 2015. Every device has the ability to record video, essentially. So there's no reason why you can't, after taking a photo, say, can you give us permission to use your photo? And then you might have a little script. We have a 10-second one that we ask them to repeat, and then we have their permission to use the photo. So that may also be usable. And again, if you're worried about the legality of this, check with a lawyer, not me. Sizing. This is a great sizing chart, and it is usually kept up to date as to what the different sizes are of different photos. Now, I gave you a couple of references already for photos. John Lever was one of them. Here's another. Currently, cover photos are 851 by 315 pixels. Now, dimensions are always changing for different things on Facebook, so stay aware of changes. Creating content. How do you go about creating it? Well, it's very simple. You start typing. This is a screen cap of the content interface on a page. Now, for those of you that don't have a Facebook page yet, if you've never worked on one, the best advice I can give you is to create one that's just going to be a staging area. So you can create a Facebook page. I've created in the past that are just basically private. and there's sort of a safe area, a sandbox, where you can play around. So last week we showed you how to go about creating a page. You can create one just for yourself. It can be for a made-up business or just for you. But create a business page where you can start playing around. Use that safe space. So if you do that, or if you've got a Facebook page already, you may be familiar with this. This is where you, on your timeline, start creating content. So you can see here we have status, photo, video, offer, an event, and scheduling. So when you schedule a post, you can put it at any time in the future, within reason, to be posted. You can also save as a draft, and you can backdate. This is tremendously powerful when you're creating content over time, because you don't want to have to be online posting content at 12 in the morning if there's something important to go out, or be responsible for staying up late. So this is really useful, and we're going to take a look at how this works with content calendars a bit later, but you'll definitely use this function on your pages. Now there's a bunch of other options too. As you can see here in the bottom left, when you create a post, you can add a photo, you can tell the world what you're doing, how you're feeling, add a location, target audience, etc., etc. Now, target audience, I showed you right here, is interesting because you do have to turn it on, the ability to target. And you do that in your settings. So if you go to the settings for your page, you'll see, under General, Targeting and Privacy for Posts. You have to turn this on in order to get the ability to target. And targeting is extremely powerful, so I recommend that you have it if that's available to you. You can see here from targeting, you can target gender, relationship status, educational status, what people are interested in, age, location, language, lots of stuff, tremendously powerful. So if you want to increase the chances for engagement, you wouldn't send out a post that's not of interest to somebody because, say, of their educational status or their location, language, things like that. We've had tremendous uptake on posts that we've done. For example, once for the university, we negotiated a exchange agreement, a reciprocal relationship with a university in Korea. So because of that, we were targeting people who spoke Korean and people that were in Korea. And we saw tremendous engagement on it because of that specificity. This is a rule generally with content and ads, is the tighter you target something, the more rewards you get in terms of engagement. And later, as you'll see in ads, click-through rate and cost per click. So this is one other arrow in your quiver for how you can achieve results. Now it's interesting. Targeting still puts the post in your timeline for all to see. This is something people don't recognize. So Facebook does two things when you create a post from your brand or fan page. One is that using the newsfeed algorithm, which we talked about last time, as you'll recall, that's the algorithm that decides who sees what. So it uses that newsfeed algorithm, which measures weight, affinity, and recency of a post to determine who sees it. So that's going to deliver that post into someone's timeline, into their newsfeed, if they follow you, and if it meets all those newsfeed algorithm criteria. But that post is also going to appear on your timeline for everybody to see if you're a brand page. So it's not like if you target, it's invisible to everybody else except who you've targeted. So think of it this way. Here's what happens when you schedule a photo, target a piece of content. Your Facebook world looks like this with your fan brand page, your followers, and everyone else on Facebook. When you publish something in your fan brand page, it appears on the timeline for everyone in the world. It's public. Facebook will deliver it to as many of your followers, fans, as the newsfeed algorithm decides to show it to. So we talked about that in week 1. If you've targeted the update to someone based on their age, etc., Facebook will only deliver that update to those followers, fans' timelines, and not the timelines of other followers or fans. So if you target single women living in Toronto with an update, Facebook will only deliver that content to the timelines of your followers or fans who are single women living in Toronto. Makes sense. Now the problem is this. You do an update, it gets pushed to your followers. But targeting does not equal private. Even though Facebook and its newsfeed algorithm won't deliver your targeted content to any of your followers who aren't single women living in Toronto, from the previous example, that content isn't secret and hidden. Anyone visiting your page can see that content on your timeline. Targeting only works to target followers the content will be delivered to. It doesn't hide it on your page's timeline from anyone and everyone you haven't targeted. So similarly, when you schedule a photo to go out, that photo will only be delivered to people's timelines at the time you specify. But it will live in the photo area of your page as soon as you upload it. It's very interesting. And I stumbled across this the hard way because I wanted to put a photo up that I was scheduling for a later time. But that photo appears in your album, your photo albums area on Facebook as soon as you upload it. At least it should. So it's not invisible until the time you schedule it to go out. It will only be pushed out to followers at that time. But if anyone were to go into your Facebook page, into the photo section, they would see it there. So anyone visiting your page will be able to see the photo in the photos area of your page, should they choose to look there. Very specific detail in this one, but I wanted to make sure that everyone's aware of it. So as you can see, everyone else on Facebook, if they come to your page, can see your update, even if it's not pushed to them. Lots of other things you can do with content. You can add a location. This provides some context and also feeds into the newsfeed algorithm for who gets to see it, who it gets shown to, delivered to. And you always want to increase the chances that your content will break through and be delivered to people. So why not add a location if that's possible and appropriate? Photos and videos, we've talked about a little bit. And also, by the way, videos we've seen lately have the best chance of being delivered and achieving reach on Facebook. They are now #1. So videos are a tremendously powerful content tool for you to use. Keep that in mind. There's also offers and events and milestones. So again, there's lots of things that you can do on a Facebook brand page that you can't do in a personal one. Milestones are interesting because they're just a way to mark an important event or something noteworthy in time on your page. They used to span the width of both columns on a page. Now they're just a regular size graphic, so it used to be much more dramatic. It's not as much now. But this is what it looks like when you're creating one. You create a title, a location if you want, the date of the milestone, and details. You can upload a photo too. This is what it looks like. Offers are also available to you. This is basically a special offer or a discount or a sale. You can think of it that way. So I was using this as an example. You create an offer, you upload a graphic, you give it a title, say 25% off, a description, an expiration date, and then you can do a limit to the number of people that claim it. So this is probably only going to be of interest to people that actually have a product that people pay money for, as opposed to say like a nonprofit. Although maybe you have something that you want to distribute to people as a nonprofit, could work here. But this is a way to, again, break through by offering something special, usually a discount. You can limit it through the claims limit so you don't overexpose yourself. But a very interesting and potentially very powerful tool. Now you need at least 50 likes before you can create an offer. So be aware of that. Offer details. Tell people where to go to redeem the offer, and then the terms and conditions. You also have the start date. You can create an event. Very straightforward. A lot of you have probably done this for your personal page. Very similar for a brand page. And of course, now Facebook adds whether it's going to rain, which is always interesting. You can add targeting, which you can't do in a private personal page, obviously, for an event. But other than that, it looks fairly similar to an event that you create for yourself. So what I want you to do now, that's a lot of information to absorb. I want you to create some content. Create a post on your business page. Now, if you don't have a business page yet, a fan, a brand page, you can't really participate in this. That's why I think it's valuable for you right now to go and create your own little private page on Facebook, that sort of sandbox safe area. It doesn't even have to be published. It can just be unpublished. You can set whether the page is visible to the wide world in the settings on the page. But if you don't have one, I would recommend creating one now. Because what I'd like you to do is go to your page. You don't have to hit post. This doesn't actually have to go to the world. But I want you to play around with the functionality I've described. We talked about targeting. That's by age, location, what they're interested in, language, etc. We talked about location, adding a location to a post. We talked about adding photo and video. scheduling it. You can even throw in what you're doing if you want. You have that ability, what you're feeling. But I want you to play around with creating a couple of posts. Don't have to hit send, but get familiar with that interface because it's essential for what you're going to be doing during the course. So pause the video, take a few minutes. If you haven't created a page, create one just for you, unpublished, or create some posts on your business page. Just don't hit send. Do that now and come back. Now, after the fact, there's a lot you can do with your post. So once you've hit submit or post, there's even more you can do. So from a post, you can pull down from the top right of the post using that little arrow a bunch of different options. Pin to top, change date, edit, highlight, hide from page, delete, embed post. So pin to top, you've probably seen on the Facebook group, allows you to take a post and put it at the top of the page. You can change the date. I've never actually used that, but you can. Edit is indispensable. And I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember the bad old days of Facebook when you couldn't edit. You had to delete a post and put it back up again. For years now it's been editable, thank God. You can highlight a post, which really just adds a little star next to it, but also biases it in the newsfeed algorithm. So it will get shown potentially to more people, hopefully. You can also hide it from page. Now this is interesting because we have both hide from page and delete. So what would be the difference here? Now if you delete something and somebody's got a link to it, that means that it's gone forever. If you hide something from a page, it's not actually deleted. So there may be a reason why you might want to hide something from a page temporarily, then bring it back up, as opposed to just deleting it. It's really up to you, but there is a fine distinction between the two. Deleting is permanent, hiding from page isn't. You can also embed the post. Now this is interesting because Facebook wants its content to live as many places as possible. It wants to be ubiquitous. Embed post allows this to happen. What it does is it shows you the HTML for the post you created. You can copy and paste that HTML, put it into a website, put it into a Tumblr, put it wherever you want so people can see that post, and it draws them into Facebook. As far as Facebook is concerned, it's a win because more people are seeing their stuff and your stuff, more eyeballs. So you can see that this might have application to, for example, if you're running a business blog and you wanted to embed a post from your Facebook page. Not only does this create cross-traffic, but it's a quick and easy way to get content up in multiple locations. Even more after the fact, my God, you thought we were done. We're not. We've just scratched the surface as to all the things that Facebook allows you to do. For a photo post, for example, if you go in, you can do all sorts of modifications, visually, otherwise. You can make it a profile picture, move it around different albums. You can do things like edit the location, change date, add tags, etc., etc. So it's tremendously powerful. Remember though, visuals are no longer the be-all, end-all they used to be. And this shows it. So this is unique organic impressions per fan. And as you can see, photos don't get that great a reach or an impression anymore. What really does well is video. We've seen that take off. Status updates do well. Links do well as well. But photos, just in and of themselves, not so great. Also, you shouldn't overwrite the photo that Facebook populates a link with. So Facebook will auto-populate the descriptions and the photo that comes with the link. What you shouldn't do is overwrite it because Facebook will penalize you. So you can change a description, you can change the title, you can change lots of stuff. But one thing that I wouldn't recommend you change when you're doing a link is put in your own photo because Facebook will bias against you in newsfeed algorithm if you do that. So try to keep the photo that comes with it, even if it's not the one you want necessarily, because Facebook will reward you for using that. And here's a link to the information about that. To hashtag or not to hashtag? What does a hashtag do on Facebook? It's not really indexable from Google. If you do searches on a hashtag under Google, you're going to come up with Twitter nowadays. Not really Facebook. So why would you use a hashtag on Facebook? Well, if it was unique, it would allow people to find more Facebook posts about that hashtag. But if it's not unique to you, it's just going to take somebody to do a whole bunch more posts that use that hashtag. So it's going to take them off your page, onto someone else's page. Why would you want to do that? The other thing that's interesting is it can actually work against you. So we take a look at some of this research from EdgeRank Checker. You can see that without a hashtag, you actually get better results in reach, engagement, organic, all sorts of stuff. So I'm not saying categorically never use hashtags, but there needs to be a reason. Either it's unique, and this is going to give people an opportunity to see more posts about that thing, especially from your page, or I wouldn't necessarily recommend using it. So don't necessarily use it, and don't do it automatically. Featured likes. Another good part of your Facebook page. You can choose the likes that you have selected as a page. So as a page, you can like other pages. This is useful because it allows you to mention them and comment on their stuff easier. And it also gives people an idea of what other pages to visit that are like yours. So if you have partners or friends, this is an opportunity. Or even like a franchisee. So you can like other pages, and I recommend you do. It's something I look for in your page at the end of term. And you can do that. Now, I would recommend not liking the competition, obviously. Keep it in the family so you can see some of the likes that we've got as York University. And how you do it. You can see the featured likes here under the page information, under settings. You can also manage the sections. You just saw that previously. You have a section under settings. You can manage the sections that appear on your page. So on your page, when people visit, they'll see the section for videos, post-to-page, reviews, likes, etc. This is available to you by hovering over the arrow on the top left of a content section. So if you go to your page and you hover over, say, photos or videos, reviews, you name it, in the left column of your page, you click Manage, and this ability to click and drag different sections becomes available. So you can click and drag videos and put it up above apps. You can click and drag reviews and put it above videos. What's most important for you and your audience can be emphasized. Okay, we're getting near the end of the lecture. One other thing I wanted to talk about was graph search. So this has proven less of a Google killer than Facebook originally wanted it to be. They thought they could create competition for Google with their graph search, but all graph search really is searching the Facebook social graph using the little search function up here. So if you're a small business, this is potentially useful because you can find people who might be interested in the product or who have done something that you specialize in. So if you were, for example, a travel agency specializing in Italian travel, you could find people who have visited Rome. It's likely an audience that might be interested in your product. So it can involve both friends and non-friends, people you're connected to, and regular people you're not connected to. It's kind of an interesting and useful research tool, and also to identify potential audience. Now, it's not really scalable. Like I said, it's more for small business entrepreneurs. It's not something where a big brand like Unilever or Toyota is going to go out and do graph search, I think, to find potential audience or research. So this may be of more interest to the smaller businesses among you, but worth exploring because you can come up with some really interesting results. And here's one more example: people who like cooking.